sir. Welcome back to the 3-Man Breakdown. It's your boy, Reg Dial. I'm here, my guy, Jay. And we got a special guest today.
Yes,
I got
sir.
Ryan
Yes, sir.
Hammer, one of the best followers on Twitter. If you're a diehard basketball fan, if you love college basketball, go and give him a follow. Ryan, appreciate you for coming on.
Hey, man, I appreciate those kind words. Appreciate y'all having me.
Of course. Let's get into it.
Without further ado, college basketball is finally back on Monday. So it's about that time of the year. I want to ask you, what made you start really getting into college basketball?
I gotta think about that. Damn. I think back in it was around 06 to 08 range, right in the prime of Steph and Jimmer. I was watching March Madness. I saw the George Mason run to the Final Four that I loved. And my oldest brother, who was 8 years older than I am, went to Maryland. So I was 9, 10, going to watch Grievous Vasquez and stuff like that and watch them beat Duke and stuff. And those things were an electric environment. So I think all those together of a prime of college basketball, those few years is what really hooked me onto it.
I could give my story. Probably the first time I really started getting into college basketball. I'm a Duke fan, so it really started with JJ Redick. Because I remember when I was little, I saw him on the cover. I think it was College Hoops 2K6. I always wanted that game. So I just went back and searched him up to start doing research. And then just found out JJ Redick was him in college. So probably around 2010, that's when I really started getting into college basketball. And then that whole the Duke championship, and then Kyrie from Jersey coming in there. And then from there, it was just raps, everything about the whole atmosphere about college basketball. And then I started getting more into the recruits and stuff like that. So that's how I really got into college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Jeff?
Me, it started off with March Madness in general, because I wasn't even really a big college guy. At the point in time where I started getting into college, I can't really pinpoint the exact date, but I was already hip to NBA basketball and high school basketball. It's just that I felt like college was just too chaotic to watch and keep track of. But it really started with if I had to guess, maybe 2013, 2012 March Madness. And from then, I just been watching and keeping up with high school prospects. That's been my favorite thing, watching the high school prospects transition to college and then watching their performance in college. And then that's really what hooked me to it.
Yeah, seeing the come ups to players. Stuff like that, just following them.
I remember when you were big on guys like Brandon Ingram and Jason Tatum, and we watching them, and then they just watching the whole entire story unfold is it's good to watch. I like it.
Yeah. All right. So how we're gonna do it is we're gonna go through each conferences and just go through the big teams and top storylines and other prospects to watch. So let's start off in the ACC. They had a good year in the tournament. 2 teams in the Final Four. We're not gonna talk about that North Carolina Duke. We're not gonna talk about that.
I knew he was gonna point that.
But let's talk about UNC. A lot of people had them as the favorites coming into this year. They brought back basically everybody and also added Pete Nance from Northwestern. So what's your thoughts on UNC this year?
They deserve every ounce of respect they're getting. I've seen some people call them the UCLA of last year, how UCLA was an 11 seed in the play and they went to the Final Four. Then they were supposed to win the title the next year, and they kind of somewhat flopped, not to be that top 5 caliber team. I don't think that's fair. They played a better conference. They showed more last year. The only reason North Carolina was an 8 seed last year because their schedule was cake for the most part, and it wasn't questions of they weren't not winning games. They were winning games against most opponents. Not bad. They had no real bad losses, and like you said, they return everybody. They lose Brady Manick, but they bring in Pete Nance, who's probably better, 100%, more dynamic. He can play small ball 5 like he did at Northwestern. I'm a Maryland guy since the ACC days. So I'm anti-Duke, anti-North Carolina, but both teams, but North Carolina really deserves every ounce of respect they're getting this year. They are number 1 in my, so 25 to start the year at least. There's no way around it is all,
Yeah, as much as I hate UNC, it's well deserved.
They're loaded right now, yeah.
Yeah.
You
and
can't
the talent
really
is undeniable too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they got the guard play. They got Baycott, who was a monster in the tournament.
Yep.
And then we already talked about Brady Manick, Leaky Black, and then off the bench we could see what Puff Johnson brings off, Seth Trimble. So they got a really good team. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they're gonna be nice.
Yeah. What do you think is the X factor for the team?
Seth Trimble.
Ooh, yeah.
I saw him hooping. maybe it was a scrimmage. I don't remember what it was, but he looked good. I'm not gonna lie. He played defense. He lock up, and he a little shifty too, and he like a little bigger. So I like Seth Trimble a
I
lot.
was just about to say he's been locking up in preseason. Literally about to say that. Like that's a difference that Caleb Love and RJ Davis don't bring. Except like it's not they don't defend at an exceptional level, especially C Love. And I think they're so good on offense, and they really need like a defensive difference maker that Leaky Black offers in the front court. Maybe not in the back court though yet. But now they got Seth. So
yeah. For me, the X factor is Caleb Love because we've seen the highs of Caleb Love and we've seen the lows. Like, just look at the Final Four versus Duke and then against Kansas when he basically just shot them out the game. So he's just that type of player. If he's cooking, and it's tough to stop him. But there's times where he just takes the shot selection is not too good and just also the finishing around the basket. If he turns into like that guy, it's gonna be tough for them to beat. And then RJ Davis, like he's just been steady since like basically the whole year last year, and you're getting from Baycott.
Exactly, spot on.
All right, let's talk about Duke. They're probably one of the most interesting teams with John Shire being a first-year head coach, having the #1 recruiting class. But there's been a little bit of setbacks with Dariq Whitehead getting injured over the summer. Derek Lively hasn't played recently, but I think he's going to be fine. And they basically just have like a whole new roster. They lost Paulo. They lost Wendell Moore. They lost A.J. Griffin.
Mark Williams.
They lost Mark Williams.
Yeah.
Trevor Kills. So it's basically a whole new team with a whole new coach. So how you feel about this team this year?
They're gonna Shire. I have every ounce of faith in Shire succeeding at Duke, like and doing fine there. We saw how good he's been as a recruiter already for the transfers and this class, but also 2023 and 2024. Like he has been absolutely going nuts. He's got Proctor to reclassify to come in now, and that's a deep team. Like Jeremy Roach is going to be awesome this year. They also hit the portal like Jacob Grandison and Ryan Young. Ryan Young apparently looked awesome in preseason so far, and like that's a difference maker for me for those guys because they get the freshmen that they usually get. Right? They get Reek, they get Lively, those two top guys, and Tariq will be fine after like another month or so. But those difference makers are the experienced guys like Jacob Grandison who come in to play like a high impact role right away. And that's what restricted them in past years. Honestly, like they have a lot of really good, a lot of lack of inexperience though is always a problem. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Jeremy Roach is going to be probably our biggest piece. Like we're going to go as far as he could really take us.
Yeah.
But he does have help with Tyrese Proctor. I'm high on Tyrese Proctor. I'm not going to lie.
So am I.
Same.
Because like the passing that he's shown, like he has pretty good handle. If his jump shot could be consistent, I think he shot it pretty good when he was playing in, was it a FIBA?
Yeah, from Australia, yeah.
Yeah, so he was playing pretty well over there. And it just takes all pressure off Jeremy Roach at times where he doesn't have to always have the ball in his hands.
Especially with Reek hurt too. Like people were like worried about that, but like Tyrese has already looked good and he's gonna start and for the first month of the season and he's gonna be great. And then people are gonna be like, shit, he should keep starting. And then they're gonna have a controversy. It won't be a controversy, but they'll have to figure out like they did last year where AJ Griffin was playing so well that they needed to start him. They're going to have a similar thing with Tyrese Proctor, which is a good problem to have, to be fair.
Yeah, for me, I feel like when they're healthy, I think the starting lineup should be Jeremy Roach, Tyrese Proctor, Dariq. And then at the 4 spot, it's kind of shaky. Like, I'm not super high on Kyle Filipowski yet, especially playing alongside Derek Lively, because I think he's a lock for starting at the 5. And Mark Mitchell's been pretty well, too, so.
Yeah, I like Mitchell a lot. He's one of those high impact guys, does a lot of dirty work.
Yeah, so I'll probably go with Mitchell over Filipowski.
Like that, yeah.
How do you feel about Filipowski, Ryan?
Oh no, I think Flip he's overrated. And like it's hard to. I very rarely say that a high school kid is overrated in the recruit rankings because it's hard. Honestly, like people can go back and forth about the high school rankings. It's hard to tell when people are playing against different competition levels. Like y'all know, high school ball goes all over the place and up and down. And I think Flip is good. I just don't think he's like top 5 recruit caliber that people think he is by the rankings. He's good. I'm not trying to like knock him at all, but like you said with Lively, like Lively's in leaps ahead of him, lengths ahead of him, and he's going to be the 5, and he's going to be like the guy in the front court, and they'll cycle through everybody else next to him.
Yeah, the thing about Flip, like he's good, but I just don't see like the NBA role for him is like kind of hard to project, especially like it's hard. It's gonna be tough for him to play the 5 because of his defense. But he's not like laterally quick enough to like guard fours. So
Yeah,
I think that's probably gonna be his biggest downfall.
yeah,
His toughest thing.
It's a fair point.
And has his offense like transferred in? Like I haven't really watched much Duke scrimmages, but the ones that I did see, like he wasn't really like scoring like that, you know?
Yeah, for what I heard that he's shooting it well, but I just got to see what he does.
Yeah, I have to see with my own eyes.
Everybody else is on foot.
Yeah,
Like I see him probably being a multiple year type of guy, or that'll probably be a better outcome.
Yeah, that's a good thing for him and Duke also. Like I don't think it's a problem at all for him.
Yeah. Anything else on Duke? Going back to what you said before, I'm high on John Shire. I'm kind of like, it just feels like refreshing and kind of like a new start. So I'm just really looking forward to the season.
Yeah, he's gonna be good. I think he's gonna bring a different level of like intensity for the guys that K didn't really like. It was almost like he didn't have to do anything to get, but Shire is gonna bring like a next level to that for sure.
Yeah. All right. Next team we could talk about. Let's talk about Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Supposed to be a really good team this year. They got K.A. Carr coming back, Reese Beekman as well. So basically, overall, they had the same roster. And when Virginia has like guys that stay longer, it's gonna be tough, especially how they get to learn their defense and stuff like that. So they're always a tough team to beat. They don't score as much points, but they're gonna lock up.
They're gonna be a problem, bro. They're gonna be an issue. They're always an issue, like you said. They could score 40 points and win. And that sucks for opponents to go play against, but like they have everybody back. Beekman's awesome. I think I picked him to win Defensive Player of the Year in the ACC. Kie, Jaden Gardner. They even bring in like Ben Vonderplas from Ohio, like that. And Tony Bennett, I think, is one of the top like give or take 5 or 6 coaches, maybe even better in the country. The system that they've run under him is unbelievable. Is like no other. And I don't know how they keep doing it. No matter who is playing, it does not matter. But that team is scary, and if they have any kind of talent like they do, they're going to be dangerous.
Yeah, if the offense just at least decent, like the defense is just going to carry everything and just make things tough.
That's when they won the national title. It was literally the defense was their usual defense, and they had a solid offense, solid enough.
Yeah, you had guys like Kyle Guy, DeAndre Hunter, Ty Jerome, so they was able to do something on offense.
Yeah.
Do they have any like players that's like coming up that's like potential prospects on their team?
Not really, probably. Beekman's probably the highest opportunity just because like his 2-way upside. Gardner, probably not much. As terms like draft prospects, probably not. But Virginia usually doesn't. Like Ty Jerome and Kyle Guy were fringe. Dre was obviously like he was top 4 pick. He's awesome, but he's a once in like not generational, but for UVA, he's a generational guy because they don't get guys like that.
Yeah, only other guy I could think of is like Malcolm Brogdon.
Oh yeah, that's my dog right there. I forgot. But even still, like he was like another guy, kind of like Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome were, but he panned out because he just plays like another IQ level. That's great.
He was rookie of the year, right?
Yeah, I think who got hurt that was that Simmons got hurt that year, right?
Or Simmons got hurt, and then that was also like the year like Jaylen Brown and Brandon Ingram, but they didn't really win rookies.
Yeah, he did. Hey, they were laughing like he didn't deserve it. I don't disagree, but we got to give credit.
Because he was the only second round pick to win it. If I'm probably not mistaken.
So, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Florida State.
It's a weird team. They're always weird.
Yeah, they play like 13 guys.
A lot of like lengthy athletes all the time. Like draft prospects is a good point because like they pump them out. Like those lengthy athletes, like Jonathan Isaac, if he ever plays basketball, Patrick Williams, all those guys, Devasell, and then like Bob Miller, who's suspended for the first 16 games of the year because the NCAA is on a fucking power trip, like always.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
That is ridiculous. Crazy. I did see that.
16 games is ridiculous.
Especially if he paid it back. He showed remorse and everything. It was like
right away.
That's crazy, bro.
I'm not surprised. It's annoying, but he's one of those guys that. Don't really. It'll affect his draft stock early on, but the latter of the season matters 10 times more, especially conference play and as the draft closer. And I think teams are going to understand his upside and at his frame and physical profile. So he's one of those guys that fits that FSU like prospect mold where like Scotty Barnes was also obviously forgot about him, but like the guys are good at school. They're not great, but then they end up being good NBA players down the road. I think Baba's going to be that kind of guy.
I'm looking at the roster right now, and there's nobody under 6'3". That's ridiculous.
That's in college. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Not one person, not even walk.
Oh, there's one person a guard who's 6'2".
And they always start like some 7'3" African center.
Yeah. That's a fact.
They really do.
Center.
They really do. I remember they used to have Michael Ojo. I think he passed. RIP, but he was an absolute unit, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy."
Let me see. Yeah, this roster is crazy. Like switching gonna be a problem with this team. Damn, bro.
Yeah, two guys I'm kind of excited to see what they do for year two is Matthew Cleveland and Jalen Worthy.
Yeah.
How you feel about those two?
Cleveland was like a fringe prospect last year. It'll be tough this year with a deep class, but he's another one of those guys. He's good. He's solid. He doesn't get like a ton of recognition because he doesn't like produce crazy numbers. But again, no one really at Florida State ever does for the most part because that's how they play and that's how they run. I like Cleveland a little more. I think all I think about is the buzzer beater he hit last year at UVA.
Yeah.
But I like him. He's got some upside. I think he's a guy that he'll probably put up like 12 to 15, maybe not 15, but like 12 points a game this year. I think he had 10 last year, something like that. But draft prospect wise, he'll be decent. I think he'll be one of those like G League elite camp guys that is maybe sneaks into a two-way deal. He'll be at summer league and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. If he improves on his jump shot, I think that's probably the biggest swing factor with him.
Yeah.
And Worley's one of my favorite on the team because he's just like a big guard, tall, 200 plus, and he's like they say he gained weight this year too. So like I think he's gonna have a breakout year this year. Yeah, he averaged 3.7 last year, so he's definitely due to at least blow up a little bit this year.
Yeah,
prospect wise,
I do like that big guard profile for sure. Yeah.
All right, one last thing we probably gonna talk about from the ACC is Miami.
Dangerous again, always dangerous. After last year, I can't believe people aren't like giving them enough credit this year already. Like I thought people would be overrated them if anything, and like top 20, whatever. But like they lost Cam and Gusty, they lost Charlie Moore, but they get Nigel Pack. Like people don't realize he scored like 17 a game last year on like 44% from three, all Big 12 first team. Yet he gets no recognition in the preseason All ACC team. Like if anything, he's closer to being an All American this year than being a not on an All ACC team. Like he's that good. And him and Isaiah Wong, they add Norchad Amir. Like that team is just gonna be freaky as long as they're healthy down the road. They don't need depth. They proved that last year. They'll play their guards with one guy in the front court, and they're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. I like the backcourt a lot.
I know you happy they finally got rid of Charlie Moore, little ass.
Bro, he was in college basketball for like 8 years.
I think he actually played 6. I'm pretty sure he played 6. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think he was there. Like he played at like 5 different colleges.
I know. People always question me like, "Oh, how do people play 6 years?" I'm like, "Listen, man, COVID eligibility is crazy." Yeah, he played. Holy shit! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6. I thought it was 7 for a second. I was about to freak out.
That's a whole career, bro.
He was at Cal for a year. He actually played really well. He played really well at Cal. Transferred to Kansas where he had to redshirt probably because he transferred. Yep. Played a year at Kansas, barely played. And then he played 2 years at DePaul where he was cooking. And then he went to Miami last year. So he had that redshirt year, which gave him a 5th year. Then COVID gave him a 6th year.
So basically he was in college when Jason Tatum was there and left when Paulo Banchero got to the league.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nuts.
Insane. That's wild.
That's like a whole rookie contract and then an extension.
Hey, right, I'm gonna say it's 2 contracts. That's wild.
Hey man, shout out to him though, because he was cooking last
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Any other ACC teams you want to highlight, or any players?
Not for anything crazy. Louisville, if you're a Louisville fan, you better be scared because
it's
they lost. They better be scared. I actually was like relatively like, oh, they got I like what they're doing. New system, Kenny Payne system. They got a lot of new guys like Brandon Huntley Hatfield, all the Kamar Lands, like, and then I watched them play and I was like, oh, they're gonna be bad. They're gonna be really bad. And I don't think it's gonna be like detrimental. They're gonna win like 5 games, but they're not gonna be good.
Yeah, and have they gotten like any prospects yet with under Kenny Payne?
Not really. Well, they're still working on DJ Wagner next year, but I don't know if that's not happening.
It's not looking
that
like
one's a whirlwind, but who freaking knows with that?
And I think they're already ruled out if he signed to Nike, correct? So and they're not a Nike school.
Actually. They're Adidas, I think, right?
Yeah.
He was once they finished off, I think, with his like granddad or something like that. Or dad like got hired on staff and then like got dropped, and that's a whole nother story. But from the staff, yeah, he did.
Oh yeah, they out of contention to me.
Exactly. But not really. They don't have a ton of guys. Huntley Hatfield's not bad. Like, he's a good athlete, but it'll take a lot for him to like get up into like conversations to be in like the draft realm.
Yeah, I'm not too high on him.
Yeah.
How you feel about what's his name? Tre'Quavion Almanot is like
Tre'Quavion
Smith.
Yeah.
Tre'Quavion's he is a straight bucket. Like, that's what he does. He gets buckets and he heats up. He was crazy at the combine last year, and I honestly thought he would have stayed. He was basically a lock to be everything I heard. He was a lock to be a late first rounder, and then probably early second, if at worst situation. So like, why wouldn't you take that bag and go? Which you can do. I don't know what else came into his decision making process, but I don't think he can get higher than that. Like, the older you get, especially at his style of game, like, you're not going to offer anything more in this year's draft, in a better, deeper draft than you would have last year when you played so well at the combine. I mean, he's a great player. He's awesome. He's going to score a ton this year. NC State's literally going to give him the keys and be like, go do whatever you want. So,
yeah, I thought he would have went to the draft because this year is a lot tougher. And I don't know if I see him being like getting to that lottery range.
It's almost impossible for an upperclassman to get in the lottery that with that kind of style. Like, he doesn't offer much on defensively, maybe as a playmaker. Like, if he wants to develop those things, it's possible, but I don't see him developing it enough to be like, think about guys like the younger guys like Anthony Black and Lively, Kello Ware. Like, he's not going to get drafted over those guys. He just can't.
Yeah. And I feel like there's more guards kind of this year. Like,
yeah,
also, like, including like Nick Smith, Keontae George.
Right. Those guys are like exceptional. And exactly. He's got to beat out a ton of these guys to get up there. And I hope for him, like, best of luck to him. But it was interesting. It'll be fun to watch him in college. I'll say that.
Yeah. Any other ACC teams, or you guys want to move on to the Big East?
We can move on. I think we good.
All right. Let's talk about Villanova. Another team with coaching turnover. Jay Wright retiring and Kyle Neptune taking over. And they got a big-time recruit. Could potentially be the first one and done since Tim Thomas. And that was around like 97. So it's been a while. Mm-hmm. How you feel about this Villanova team?
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, now that I guess all their guys that go are literally always those like upperclassmen guards, high IQ guys. It's true. That's crazy. Cam's awesome. He's unbelievable, and he'll be one and done 1,000%. He could miss the entire year, and he'll still get drafted next year. They're going to be good. I don't think they're going to be as bad. People think that and they're switching up everything. They'll probably struggle early in the season, I'd say, but they struggled early in the season last year too, and like they ended up being fine. They don't have the same experience, I guess, in like the backcourt. I think Mark Armstrong is going to end up being the leader of the backcourt. He's a freshman also.
Yeah, he's tough.
Very tough.
He's very nice. I think he's New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's Jersey.
I played with him like last year, like 2 times.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he got it.
Hey, if he's going to be starting or potentially starting at Nova, he better have it. Better have something.
Yeah. Like, he's bouncy as fuck too.
Yeah, they're going to be nice. Like, they're going to be good. They have experience in the wing room and stuff like that in the front court, enough of it. And I think Cam balances out losing a lot of the things that they lost. Like, he's going to help that with the athleticism that they usually don't have. And they'll be good. They won't struggle as much as people expect them to.
Yeah. And they still have like a couple of guys back, like Caleb Daniels.
Yeah. Justin Moore. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, when's he coming back? Probably.
I don't know. I haven't seen much. I mean, I see him do some training stuff. So I would imagine in the near future, like before conference plays, my guess, but I got to check that out.
Oh, all right. Yeah. I think, they're going to be a good team. Still with losing Jay Wright.
Yeah, for sure.
Another Jersey guy, Trey Patterson. You think he's gonna come into his own this year, or is it?
Let's stick with the positive.
Ditto.
Oh man,
I want to give a shout out to my guy Brian. Brian Antoine.
Oh yeah, shout out
Oh,
Brian.
yeah. Getting a fresh start.
Yeah. Hopefully
He's
he stays
Jersey too.
healthy.
There you go. More Jersey kids.
Yeah.
Man, you want to hear? You want to hear a little story real quick?
Absolutely. I knew he's probably the same age, similar age, right? So
Yeah,
We went to,
so-
like me and Brian used to be like best friends back.
He
in the day.
he went to Randy, right?
yeah.
And Henry Hudson is in the same conference as Randy. So we played him 2 times a year. Bro, I promise you, he penciled in 30 every single time we played him. It didn't fail. And then like there was times where Scotty didn't play when we played against him. So at one point he definitely did drop at least 40 on it. It was bad, bro. It was like, and there's nothing you could do. Like
They
you
were
trying,
crazy. That team was
ridiculous.
crazy. Yeah.
Ridiculous, man. That shit like it was almost like demoralizing because you'll be right in front of him, like just hands up at everything. He'll still rise right over you. 3-pointer. I'm like, yo, this is crazy, bro.
That's funny. I had one of my neighbors used to play with them at the Randy team, and like I would always go watch them and stuff with them. I'm like, damn, these kids are wild. So,
Ridiculous.
yeah.
OD athletic.
Yeah.
It hit shots. It's tough, man. Well, shout out to him. Hopefully he turned things around this year and get going.
Yeah. All right, let's stick with it. Let's go on to the Jersey team. Seton Hall picked up Shaheen Holloway. How you guys feel about this team this year?
You know, it's crazy. I'm about to go. Tiernan invited me out there for when they do the home openers. I was like, I might have to go.
Who they play?
I don't remember. Let me check right now. They
Probably
play-
someone garbage. Every Power team's playing someone garbage to start the year. It's always pissed me off. Whatever. They're gonna be fun. Like that's mad fun. You guys like can feel the same thing that I feel. Like the Jersey schools, like it's cool to have Jersey ball be decent. Shaheen's like the pride and joy of New Jersey college basketball at this point. And I think they'll be decent. They'll be a tournament level team. Canary Richmond's gonna be awesome to watch there this year. They bring in a lot of the St. Peter's guys that Shaheen had, like Casey and Defo, and they'll be decent. They'll play in high intensity. I'll be at the Rock. Oh God. I'll be at the Rock a bunch of times this year because it's close, easy to get to, and like that's good ball. So they'll be solid.
And they start the season off against St. Peter's.
Oh, they also have Alamir Dawes from Clemson as well.
Oh, that's a good transfer.
He's
Right,
from
yeah.
Jersey too. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch tune in more to Seton Hall.
Yeah.
Oh
Do
yeah.
they have any like prospects or is it just all like
If anybody, it would have been probably Canary Richmond.
Yeah. Canary was on like radars last year, but never like panned out last year. At least he could get up there, but I don't think it won't be anything crazy.
Mhm.
Creighton. I think this probably gonna be a really good year for this Creighton team. You got a lot of guys coming back. Ryan Nemhart for his sophomore year, he played really well but got injured. Trey Alexander, who could be a breakout candidate this year, picked up Baylor Shireman. They have Arthur Kaluma, who was projected to be a first-round pick, and then big man Ryan Kalprinter. Is that his last name?
Yeah.
Kalbrenner. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a stacked Creighton team. How you guys feel about them?
They're loaded. They are absolutely like you say. I knew what they had, but you read them out like that, and you're like, God damn, like they're gonna be crazy. They like people think they're gonna be a national title contender, and they probably are in that on paper, but I'll believe it when I see it. Like I don't think the people are like, oh, they almost beat Kansas last year too. I'm like, great, and this team almost beat this team, but they didn't. Like that's what happens when like that shit happens in college basketball, and people got to realize that. They were decent last year and they had a chance in that game, but they also should have lost to San Diego State the round before. Like maybe I'm just still butthurt about my picks, but I know San Diego State should have won that game. There are multiple opportunities. So like, it's the same thing. They weren't up to the caliber of Kansas, clearly, who won the national title. But they'll be good. They'll be very, very good. I think they need so many like jumps and breakouts is the only worry I have. We're like, Kaluma is going to break out, right? We think Baylor Shireman, we know what he's going to bring, but Trey Alexander and Ryan Nemhart, like they need to take leaps, and Kalkbrenner's got to be like defensive player of the year in the nation type leap. And like, they need all these jumps to win a title. And I don't know if they're going to get every single one because there's no, like, they're not going to have enough balance for that, you know?
Yeah. Like you need kind of like all of them to be at their best. And I don't know how I expected like all 5 players to really make that big leap.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot to ask for. They're going to be nasty. Like they probably will win the Big East, but it's tough to ask. It's a lot to ask from a bunch of guys, not just one or two. So,
yeah, I definitely agree. Is there any other sleeper teams in the Big East?
Definitely St. John's. I've convinced myself St. John's basketball might be back this year. I've convinced myself, but it might not. It might not. But they're gonna be fun. Posh and Curbelo are nice. David Jones is good. And like we've seen teams like Miami, like I said, like you don't need a ton of depth. You just need a few guys. If they're healthy all year, if you play the right system around them. And St. John's is gonna be fun. They're gonna play fast. They're gonna be exciting. They're gonna be fun to watch. I have them right on the cusp of the tournament right now, and I think they'll end up being in the tournament at the end of the year, which is a huge success if they get there.
Yeah, I feel like if you build a team in college basketball, you need guard play. So if you got really good guards, like anything is possible. Anything's really possible. So if Andre Cabello could improve upon, well, he had a down year for his sophomore year, I believe.
Yeah.
If he could play a lot better, you still got Posh Alexander as well. If they had Julian Champagny on this roster, I like them a lot better.
That would be crazy. That'd be wild.
Yeah.
I wish.
I think that they'll be solid. How you feel about Sean Miller and Xavier?
They're getting a lot of hype as like dark horse Big East contender. I don't think they'll be able to win the conference. They're gonna be good. Jack Nunge, and Colby Jones is real tough. I like Sean Miller. I think they're going to be good. I don't know how good. People think they're going to be better than Nova and UConn. And like, I don't know if I can convince myself that they're going to be second or first in the conference is all.
Yeah, probably I don't know who I'll pick to win.
It's more open than people think. Like everyone, it's Creighton. Like Nova could win. Xavier could win. UConn could always win. Like they're probably being a little underrated right now. So it's probably one of those 4 teams, I would say. Providence maybe on the outside.
Yeah. And did you talk about UConn? And
kind of. I mentioned them. Like they return a couple of their guys. Adama Sanogo is an absolute. He's like Kofi Coburn, basically. Yeah, that's what he is going to be for them this year. Maybe not as good, but close. But Andre Jackson breakout is probably coming. I like Tristan Newton they got from ECU a lot. He's a bucket. They need that in the backcourt. Like they needed a guard like that who can just score at will. So that's going to be huge for them too.
Yeah. I like Jordan Hawkins as well.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Big Ten. The top teams that we got here is Indiana looking like probably the early favorite right now. You got Michigan and Michigan State and Illinois. Let's talk about Indiana, though. Trace Jackson Davis. I almost call him Trace Jackson Walker. Trace Jackson Davis, potential Big Ten candidate of the year and also first team All-American as well. They also got Xavier Johnson coming back. Jalen Hood-Schifino that they picked up. I'm really high on him.
Mm-hmm. He's the definition of just like we watch him and you're like, that boy nice, tough. He's so good.
I felt like just like a great, like steady, just how he's kind of talked about like Jalen Ward, like a big guard, kind of around like 6'4", 6'5", has good size, plays with good pace as well, and could also defend. I'm high on that. And then just overall, I think it's probably one of the better Indiana teams in the past couple of years.
Yeah, they've struggled at times. Now, my thing is like, I don't think the word is they're the top, and then who's going to beat them. But like, I don't think it's that clear at all at the top. I think there's a few teams that could win, probably like 3. But I think them and Michigan are like neck and I give a slight edge to Michigan. Indiana is very good and they're better than they have been in years. But like, they got their doors blown off by St. Mary's last year in the tournament, first round of the game, and that wasn't like a fluke game. It wasn't like a bad game. And they add JHS and like they return their guys, so experience is always good. But like, what steps are they going to take to not lose by like 40 to St. Mary's? Like that's a problem.
They got smoked.
It was a problem. It wasn't just like, oh, we had a bad game. Like no. You don't lose by 30, 40 points to a WCC school. It's not Gonzaga, and it's just a bad game. Like that doesn't happen. So I don't know. I like that. I think they're going to be really good, no doubt. Top 25 team. And they can win the Big Ten. They're just not they're not my pick. I think Michigan's better than them.
Hey, I'm not mad at that at all. They got Hunter Dickinson. You think Jet Howard's gonna be a starter this year?
I don't know. I think Jawan will bring him off the bench at first, at least, and then he's gonna impact the game a lot from the wing. And I think once he starts to, he's gonna be like, all right, I'm not like Jawan's very every coach is pretty unbiased towards their players, unless you're like Fran McCaffrey at Iowa. And I think he's going to be pretty normal about it. And like any other freshman that's not super highly rated, you bring him off the bench, he starts impacting. Great. Now we can start him because we know we can give him a bigger role. So he'll be good. I don't know if he'll start right away, but he'll be nice.
Yeah. Why are you higher on Michigan than Indiana?
I think Hunter's better than Trace slightly. I am Hunter Dickinson hates Maryland, so I don't like Hunter Dickinson for that. But he's great. Like he's awesome. Like I have no problem about his game. He's really good. And then I love Jalen Llewellyn. They're transfer the guy from Princeton. He does everything that you needed from a guard, like every single possible thing you need from a guard. Kobe Buffkin's going to have probably a slight breakout year. Like Jet, that team is very, very good, very well rounded and balanced. And like you match them up against Indiana, and I'm like, great. I'll take Hunter. I'll take Llewellyn. Like I think they're better straight up.
No, I'm gonna lie, you got me sold.
I'm anti-Michigan too. Like I said, I'm not just anti-Hunter. Like I don't like Michigan, but they're going to be really good. So
yeah, I agree.
I didn't even know Joey Baker was over there.
Yeah, he not. Joey Baker ain't really crazy. Michigan State. They got AJ Hogarth coming back. I think they picked up Jaden Atkins as well. Tyson Walker. Might be a couple other guys I'm forgetting. I think they're gonna be a solid team.
Yeah, they're probably underrated too. Like everyone, don't sleep on Izzo. It's not just Tom Izzo. Like AJ Hogarth's awesome. He's gonna be one of the better point guards in the Big Ten, if not the best he could be. Great playmaker. I'm a huge fan of his game. But they're good. They go deep too. Joey Hauser and Jackson Kohler's a freshman that won't play big minutes right away, but he'll ease into it. Tyson Walker's obviously good. I think Jaden Akins he's returning soon from a small injury, but he should be okay at some point in the near future. But like that's a super well-balanced team. I don't know if they're going to have the guy to get you buckets and stuff like that, which they've struggled with in the last few years, but they're going to be good. Like again, they have been in the last few years.
Yeah, I agree. A tip for everybody: don't bet on Big Ten teams to win in the tournament. It's just not going to happen.
Sadly, sad but true.
Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of, especially a down year in the Big Ten compared to last year as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. They don't have like a top 5 team to start the year. I think Michigan could get there. I don't think Indiana could get to being a top 5 to 10. Big Ten they could, but I think Michigan has the caliber to be like dark horse title contender come March. But again, like usually, like you said, the Big Ten starts with someone. They always start, whether it's Iowa, Wisconsin, teams that come out throughout the year. Like those teams that's not happening this year. So,
yeah, who's the best prospect in the Big Ten?
Prospect wise, I'm trying to think. That's actually interesting because I'm thinking about it, I'm like SEC, Big 12. These are Big East guys. I'm drawing blanks. Who comes to your guys' minds?
Oh,
only person is really
Jackson Davis.
I'm trying to think who's better than Jalen Hood-Schifino.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say him, and I got hesitant about saying it. It could the upperclassmen that like Chris Murray probably. Yeah, he's probably up there. I don't think he's going to be like crazy like Keegan was obviously, but he'll be a good prospect. Yeah. Right, they're probably looking at late first, early second at best at the Big Ten guys.
Oh, I might have him.
Who?
Could Sky Clark be one?
I was just looking at his name. I was like, I don't know. I wanted to say him, but I don't know if he's going to be like.
I think he's going to stay. I think he'll be there more than a year because like Terrence Shannon's awesome. So
this Illinois team kind of interesting.
They're a weird team, bro. They are a weird team.
We got to tune in to watch.
They're gonna be good. Like I said, like 3 teams could win the conference. They're the 3rd team. Another like Sky and Terrence can be the bucket getters and stuff like that. And that's a pretty good, damn good backcourt. Matthew Mayer, Coleman Hawkins, like RJ Melendez. Like now that I'm saying, I'm like shit, they're gonna be pretty good. They're good. I just like I don't know. That unit is so everyone's new. So like Coleman and RJ have room to take huge leaps, right? And then Sky's new, and Terrence is new, and Mayer's new. So like maybe early in the season they won't be great, and if they're not, it'll be a good chance to be like almost like buy low, and them dip and buy the dip, and they'll be good later on in the season.
Yeah, you just really have to see how everything clicks with just all these new pieces around.
That's the thing for a lot of teams. Like obviously, there's always freshmen, but the transfer portal was livid this year. So like,
booming,
right? It's literally crazy. Every team has transfers, and if you don't, like, you're probably not going to be as good as the other teams next to you that do. So,
yeah, that's crazy. All right, let's move into the Big 12. Is this the best conference in the nation?
For sure, 100%. I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah, if anything, I'll say that I'll give them the edge, and then the second will probably be the SEC.
SEC has been good. That's a fair point. I just like top to bottom of the Big 12. You go to the bottom schools, like Kansas State's going to they're going to improve with Jerome Tang. Like they'll be better in years to come. But even like West Virginia, especially now that they got Jose Perez from Manhattan, like that's the bottom of the Big 12. And you look at 5 and 6 and Texas Tech and TCU, and like those are top 25 teams. They're going to have 5, potentially 6 ranked teams. Like that's a ridiculous conference.
Like there's no cakewalk games. Like
not a single
you're not
one.
playing like no Vanderbilts or something like that.
But that's the difference. That's the difference of the SEC and the Big 12 and like every conference. Big 10. No, I'm not trying to throw shade at teams, but like Nebraska, Northwestern, and you go to the ACC and you play against teams like NC, right?
Well, Boston
BC
College is not supposed to be this bad this year, but
right, but even then they'd be at the bottom of the Big 12. So
Pitt,
right, Pitt, NC, like you go down the line. The Big 12 is crazy good, and like it's not even just the lack of bad teams; it's the top tier teams. Like they got 3 title contenders, and they're gonna be nasty.
Yeah, so where you want to start off at? Who do you think is the best team in the Big 12 this year?
I'm gonna say I'm always a big Baylor guy. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm wearing a Baylor shirt right now. I love Scott Drew. I think he's probably the best coach in the country now that Jay Wright's gone. Maybe Kelvin Sampson is, but the system that Baylor runs is unbelievable. The way they take in all types of like different versatile guys, and Scott Drew uses them to like every capability, especially on the defensive end. Keontae George is ridiculous. He is ridiculous. Like he is so damn good. Yeah. He's going to be the bucket they need. Him, LJ Cryer, and Adam Flagler is a ridiculous trio of guards. It's unbelievable.
Best guards in the country.
I said Houston was to start the year, and then I just said that out loud, and I'm like, there's no way anyone's better than that. There's not a single chance.
Yeah, I'm taking Baylor.
Crazy.
Guards. And I'm really high on Keontae George as well.
It's hard not to be, bro. He's as polished as they come as a scorer. Like he gets to his spots no matter where he is. He's strong. He's aggressive. Like he's gonna be fun to watch, and he's different than like the other guys because I think he's not. He's more aggressive than the others. And hopefully Cryer comes back fully healthy. He's all good, but that is a scary team.
Y'all taking Baylor backcourt over UNC's backcourt?
Yeah.
Because of the 3, I think. Yeah. Trimble's good, but like he's the big step down from any of the 3 Baylor guys.
You're right.
And they also have Langston Love coming back too.
That's right. Damn. See what I'm saying? Like they're not going to miss a sub beat. That's wild. And even like they add in the front court Jalen Bridges out of West Virginia. Like he's going to have a much bigger impact especially towards winning at Baylor too. So
yeah, they still have Flo Thamba is still their big, right?
Yep. Yeah, he's a unit. That man's a force.
Yeah. And I'm assuming Jonathan Chacho is probably not going to play probably until like February.
Yeah, I know he's still on the roster and stuff. I seen him walking around and doing some exercises, but I don't think he is. I think he's out indefinitely for now, at least. I hope he comes back.
Yeah,
because he's awesome. He's like defensive player of the year in the conference caliber. So
yeah. All right, let's move on to the defending champs. Right before we started this podcast, I just saw Bill Self got suspended for like 4 games. You know what happened there?
I think that's from a recruiting violation from like 2017 or something like that. That's been ongoing. It's nonsense. And like it's Bill Self, so they're not gonna like. The NCAA said they're not doing anything, if at all, until after the season because it's like Bill Belichick in the NFL. Like they're not gonna. There's no reason to do anything. No one cares. It's from 2017. Kansas gave him a 4-game suspension that won't make a difference at all later on in the season, and that'll be that. That's about it.
Yeah, I heard you missing that Duke game, so might.
That's true. That'll
help us out.
Yes, that's a good point. Take it with a grain of salt, then.
All right. So this Baylor team they lost Ochai Baji and Christian Brown. Christian Brown been hooping. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
I really liked him coming out of the draft. And also big man David McCormick. So it's looking like the starting backcourt is going to be Kevin McCullough, transfer out of Texas Tech. So an in-conference transfer. And you got DeJuan Harris. I don't know if there's a better defensive backcourt in the country.
That is really good. Yeah, it's a good defense for sure. They have not minimal offense at all, but like McCullough is a solid offensive player. DeJuan Harris is a minimal offensive player. So like, what do they give you on that end is my worry.
I feel like the biggest X factor, they're going to be relying on what Jalen Wilson, the step he takes.
Yeah, they need him to be like All-American if they want to win a title again. If they want to even be like a Final Four candidate and stuff, he needs to be like borderline, if not All-American for sure. They need him to do what Ochai did, where he takes a huge leap. He doesn't have to be like the shooter and stuff like that, but he has to be like that caliber of player.
Yeah, I agree. They also picked up 2 wings, Grady Dick, MJ Rice. And at the 5 spot, it's going to be tough for them because they don't have David McCormick that they could go to or Udoka Azubuike. They got Zach Clemens. It's Zach Clemens, right?
Yeah, and they have Ernest Uday too. He's like a freshman, but it's a good point. Bill Self, I literally did a study like recently about the plays they run. They always run through bigs that aren't, and they don't have to be good. They've had great guys. Like McCormick was not like this prolific center at all. He is
I was so low. I thought he was terrible until like, there was moments that he was bad, but like when it came tournament time,
he did show up. He did show up in the tournament.
But you're right. He's not good. He's not that great of a center. He's huge. He's much bigger than everybody, and he can move better than most bigs at any size, especially his size. So like, it's hard to defend him. You foul him a ton. Like Bill Self exploits that so well, and I don't know if Uday is going to be that guy this year enough, which he could be, but they need him because that's how they play. Otherwise, they might struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like outside of Jalen Wilson. I don't know who's that like second guy really on this team.
It's got to be McCullough, I think, but I don't know if it can be.
Yeah, because watching him at Texas Tech, like it was times where like they just couldn't score the ball and nobody was really like a go-to type of guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move on to Texas. Year 2 of Chris Beard. Tyrese Hunter was probably one of the best pickups in the transfer portal. And they still got Marcus Carr as well. Picked up Dylan Mitchell, freshman from Montverde.
They're going to be nice. They're 12 in the AP poll. I think they're like a top 5 caliber, probably 6 or 7 team in the country. They're so like talk about backcourts. Tyrese Hunter is unbelievable. Probably the best 2-way guard in the country. One of the best 2-way players in the country. They obviously have Marcus Carr for a 6th year. Again, like great experience to have. Serge Jabari Rice from Mexico State. Arterio Morris is playing even through whatever allegations he had.
That's insane, by the way. I just saw his name on the roster. I was like, bro.
Yes, bro. I was like, oh shit, this man's not going to play at all. 2 months later, I see him in training camp. They're posting highlights of him, and I'm like,
I thought he was finished after everything that I saw.
Jeez, man.
I'm very much with that. But basketball on the court, that's a ridiculous backcourt. Those 4, like, I'd put them up against Baylor because of the depth they have and like the balance of style and I guess energy that they bring. Mm-hmm. And then Dylan Mitchell, Timmy Allen, like that team is going to be very, very, very good. Like could definitely win a title this year.
And Marcus Carr came alive later in the tournament, so he might start the season off like how he ended it last year. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hey, if you're a 6th year, you can't really miss a beat because you got to be like, you have to be the steady piece for the team. You have to be.
Facts.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Let's move on to TCU. How you feel about that team? They got Mike Miles coming back. They had a tough loss against Arizona last year in the tournament.
Yeah. I think people say they're a top 15 team in the country because what did we say? Who was it? Creighton before. They're like, oh, like, man, like they almost beat Arizona last year. Like that was crazy. They're going to be really good next year when they return everybody. They almost won, but they did not win. Like they fought hard. Their team is not very deep, in my opinion, outside of Miles. It goes as far as Mike Miles wants to take them. He'll probably win Big 12 Player of the Year, but they're going to lose games because if you limit him at all, like you're going to win. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a good team, but like get them being like a championship contender, or probably like winning the Big 12. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Is there any other teams you want to talk about in the Big 12?
No, I don't know. Texas Tech's gonna be good. That system's awesome. They got a couple of scorers now too. They got a big Fardaws Amac from Utah Valley who's gonna be really good. And then the Oklahoma schools are gonna be pretty dangerous too. I think Oklahoma State will be a little more dangerous, but Grant Sherfield at OU also. Like those are two teams that could definitely sneak into a tournament and maybe cause some havoc.
Oklahoma State doesn't have any postseason bans this year, right?
No, this year they're good.
All
They're finally good to play in the tournament.
All right, that's good to hear. All right, let's move on to the Pac-12. UCLA. Can they be a Final Four team this year?
I think they can. I'm pro West Coast basketball. I don't know. I think people are very split. So I don't know if you guys are or not.
They all right.
Yeah.
They all right.
Even in general, like I feel like if people are like, there's like the anti-Gonzaga group. Like if you're anti-Gonzaga and then you're anti-West Coast basketball in general. Like I don't know why, but that's how people function.
Yeah, I don't hate Gonzaga at all.
There you go. Not part of that group then. But UCLA is good, dude. Like Jaime Haka is definitely All-American this year. Conference Player of the Year for sure. He is as polished and like high IQ of a scorer as they come, and like he doesn't need to be super athletic and crazy explosive and fast. Like he's such a smart scorer, and even though there's like a draft prospect, I rated him as like an early second last year. He probably wouldn't have gone there, but I think he's worth that again this year because what he has an innate understanding of how to get his looks more than anyone else on the floor. And in the NBA, that'll be tougher. But in college, like that is going to be 15, 20 points a game guaranteed. So he's going to be awesome. And they're bringing Amari Bailey and Adembona also. And they have Tiger Campbell. Like that's a good team. Very good team.
Yeah. I like Jaime Haka. I like the way he gets his spots, like his footwork and stuff like that.
Yeah. He's crafty, bro.
Yeah. How you feel about Amari Bailey?
He's been looking like a lot more like better playmaker than I would have expected already. Obviously, it's just like training and scrimmages and nonsense, but he's going to be good. He's a bucket too. He could score a ton. I think he'll hone into his scoring upside because Jaime can't score every point, and Tiger Campbell was more of a playmaker. He could score a little bit, but I think it's a really, really good balance. Like he fits in perfectly next to Tiger Campbell. If you play them together, they're almost complete opposites.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think is probably possible draft range this year?
Peak for Amari is probably mid to late first if everything goes like really well and he's like absolutely cooking, scoring like upwards of like a double, like 12, 13 points a game, and like efficient. I think efficiency is going to be huge for him as a scorer because if he can show that he can do that in the college level, like people will trust him on the NBA level, and it's such a talented class. I think the floor is probably he stays another year. I don't think he will, but it's a very wide range of outcomes.
How you feel about him, Jeff?
I'm high on him. I am a little scared because like whenever I'm high on those type of guards, like those athletic playmaking guards, they never really pan out that well. But I think he's good. I think at least this year he'll be all right. And like you said, his floor is staying another year, which I can kind of see that too. And that's not really like the worst for him. Right. So I agree.
Yeah, I think he's solid. But I definitely like the pairing between him and Tiger Campbell in the backcourt because Tiger is like more so like a kind of table setting type of guy, and then Amari just complements like with the scoring. And you guys talking about like how his playmaking looks to be pretty good too. And he's a solid defender if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah,
he just uses like a lot of those guys use their frame and athleticism to be like it gives them a really high floor defensively.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how this UCLA team is. I'll give them an edge probably being the best team in the Pac-12. But next team we can move on to is Arizona. They lost Benedict Mathurin, they lost Krishna Koloko, but they still have guys such as Kurt Kriisa in the backcourt, Pelo Larson. Oh, they also lost Dalen Terry as well.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, that would have been tough for him to come back another year. But
I love D2 too. I was high on him as a prospect, as a player, and it sucks to see him go, but it makes sense. But it'll be good. I think I want to say their entire starting five off the top of my head is international guys. Krista Larson, the two Bellis brothers, and Bala. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Courtney Ramey, I think, is suspended for a few games for something.
Really?
Only like 3 games, I'm pretty sure it is. That's it. I have some kind of transfer thing, something like that. But he'll be fun to play. Kylan Boswell, they got too, which was surprising. Like later in the recruiting process to come in. So like their backcourt's really good. They're going to be an interesting team. I don't know if I have full confidence in them yet, but they could definitely be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Let's talk about Oregon. How you feel about their roster?
Their roster is good, but it was also good last year. I get worried like the same thing will happen, but I know I have trust in Dana Altman too in them, but they got a ton of guys like Will Richardson. I think he's 6th year also. It might be 5th year actually, but Will Richardson's awesome. He's their leader. He's a bucket, but they brought in Jermaine Couisnard, Keyshawn Barthélemy, Tyrone Williams led the entire nation in D2 scoring last year. I think he scored like 24 points a game on like wicked crazy splits. And those 4, that's a crazy backcourt. Like I said to someone like built for buckets. I think I did a video or some nonsense on that. Like they are literally built for buckets. And then you even go into the front court. Like N'Faly Dante is solid. Kello Ware, I'm a huge fan of. Like he is an absolute freak. So they're going to be nasty, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So them getting all those guards is probably the main reason why you think Dior probably decommitted?
Yeah.
That was weird, right? That was so I guess like I think he decommitted right after Will Richardson said he was coming back.
Yeah, when he was coming back. Yeah, I remember that.
Right, which is like I understand it, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, what do you expect Will to leave like and go not get drafted? I was confused.
Yeah.
So
I like Kello Ware as well too. He played really good in the FIBA, and then also like the All-American games as well.
Yeah, he's like him and Lively are the top like 5s, obviously in terms of like prospects and stuff, and from the college kids. I think Kello and Lively's much more polished. He's stronger frame, but Kello Ware like that physical profile is crazy, and that has daunted teams at times where like. Not a fair. I'm not comparing Bol and Chet and all these guys. Like there's such a wide variety of like success outcome that comes with these stretch 5s where Kello Ware is more of like a physical 5 than a lot of those guys, but he has a physical raw profile to be like exceptional.
Yeah. Like I'm interested to see like who ends up going high between those two. Yeah, I think Lavi is probably like a better defender, but you see like more flashes of what Kello Ware could do offensively. Like he's a little bit better offensively than Lively.
Definitely adds more of like a wow factor also. Like you see him make plays and like even run on the open floor.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, like he's crazy. If you put 1 and 2 together, like he's gonna be a menace.
Yeah. I hear like a lot of people talk about like both of their motors. So that's another thing I'm looking to see.
Yeah.
For both of them. Is there any other Pac-12 teams y'all want to talk about?
Let's see.
Oh, that's nothing crazy. The Pac-12 always has pretty lackluster depth in the conference.
Yeah.
But there's always guys like teams like Colorado and Arizona State, even and like Washington State could be like decent sleepers, but sleepers to do what? Like not to win the conference, like to maybe get into the tournament at best, and that's it. So,
Is there any like prospects to watch in the Pac-12 that we haven't talked about?
There's a couple of USC guys, like a lot of those freshmen, but they probably won't like be super high, and they might be like a 2-year type of guys. I do like Boogie Ellis, but he won't be that high of a prospect. But I honestly, not really. Like, there's not a ton of guys that are going to be like super highly sought after prospects in the conference outside of the top like few.
So let's move into the conference where we got a lot of prospects in the SEC. Let's talk about Kentucky. Lost to St. Peter's last year.
I remember that game, bro.
Oh man, no, that was a day. They lost to St. Peter's last year, but they returned the National Player of the Year, Oscar, and they still got Jacob Toppin coming back. They kind of reloaded. They got a good recruiting class with Kason Wallace, Chris Livingston.
They're gonna be good, yeah. They're always what am I saying? They're always good. I'm just, they're going to be good. They're always fucking good. But they, Cal said something the other day, like, you might expect a slow start to the season from us, and then everyone started freaking out on Twitter. Like, what do you mean slow start? Like, how long is this slow start going to last? I'm like, everyone relax. Like, he just wants time to gel, for the guys to gel. Because like you said, like, they reloaded. They brought in the new freshman. They added Antonio Reeves out of Illinois State. Like, he's going to be great on the wing. Severe Wheeler and Oscar, and I guess Toppin and like Damian Collins, who are taking steps up, are the only like centerpieces from last year. So they're gonna refill the rotation, do everything they can. So they're gonna be elite, obviously, and they'll probably win the conference because I think Arkansas is gonna take too long to be good in the season. Like, they're a team that is inexperienced, but Kentucky's to lose for sure.
Yeah, you see them winning a national championship?
I mean, I'll take the other 350 whatever teams if I'm going to them against the field, but I'll say no. I'll say no. They haven't won in like 10 or 11 years, so maybe they are due for one at some point. And they usually don't have experience like they have right now. Like, usually they run by freshmen, they run by a lot of talent, but Oscar, Antonio, Severe, like I said, like, these are upperclassmen guys that have been there for years and understand the system so well and everything. So they're going to manipulate other teams so easily. But I still don't think they're going to win title, though.
I feel like only if they had a guy like Shaden Sharp.
It really would be a difference maker. That'd be a crazy lineup. Oh, my God.
Yeah. I feel like they're kind of missing that guy, like, at the guard. They, like, to put the ball in their hands and, like, get you one.
I was about to say that because especially with the way he's playing in Portland right now, like, they could have used somebody who could just go get a bucket. Like,
Reeves can be that guy. Antonio Reeves can be that guy for them. I don't know to what level. Like, he was, I don't remember exactly what he scored last year, but he was probably like a 15, 16, 17 point a game, maybe even more. He might have averaged like 18 or 19 points a game last year in the MVC. Like, he's a bucket. He can shoot from outside. He's an elite outside threat. It's just like, what is Cal going to trust him with as a role coming from Illinois State is my only question. So,
yeah. And I don't believe in Severe Wheeler being.
I don't know. He's a weird player, but he's a great passer, a good playmaker. I just like doesn't offer, like, he's not the best point guard you'll see. So
yeah. Let's move on to Arkansas.
That team's fun. They're fun, dude. They're probably the team I'm most excited to watch in the conference. I'd say most people agree. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Sure. Especially in this conference. Yep.
Yeah. But we talked about Nick Smith before. I mentioned Anthony Black too, like Jordan Walsh, the freshman they bring in. They also have a bunch of transfers. They don't have a ton of returning guys. So, like, it's definitely going to take time. I love Eric Musselman too. I love what he's been building there, but they're not going to be like, I don't know what their schedule exactly is, but if they have tough games early on, like, I'd probably ride the ladder, whoever they're playing, but they'll be good down the road. They're super talented. That will win them games alone, plus the Eric Musselman system and the discipline that he offers and stuff like that. But AB, Anthony Black, and Nick Smith they're going to be so much fun to watch. Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch them play. Nick Smith, Jordan Walsh as well. And also the transfer of Trayvon Brazil. Where he come from? Was it Missouri?
Mizzou, yeah. He didn't do much last year too, but they're already using him. They're going to use him very differently than Mizzou did. He's got a great athletic build that they could use. It's different to, like, most teams don't have that kind of guy.
Yeah, I think it's gonna take time because, like, they have, like, a whole new roster.
Yeah,
but, like, Eric Musselman, that's a coach I want to play for.
Right, bro. He's the best. He's the fucking best. Excuse me.
Now, you can curse all you want on this podcast.
I was making sure. I said like 3 times. Yeah, I cussed like 3 times, and every time I'm like, "Oh, what am I doing?"
Yeah, you good. You can let it fly, bro.
Alabama.
I feel like they're the same team per usual. Like, a lot of guards, maybe a couple of front court and wing guys, a lot of talent, a lot of lack of discipline. And I don't know, they'll be good, but they do have more experienced guys this year. Like, I don't know. I do like Mark Sears, adding Mark Sears a lot too. And I think Brandon Miller, people are starting to be high on now as a prospect, but he'll be really, really good. Like, 'cause he's going to have to play a ton. They don't have a ton of front court guys or big wings like him. So he's going to have to be awesome. But I think Mark Sears is a very underrated transfer from Ohio. That like he's going to be great for them. So
Yeah, and I'm high on Brandon Miller a lot.
yeah, they're just a weird team, like they were last year, where they lost a lot of games, but they beat Gonzaga earlier in the year. But then they'll lose to like I don't know Tennessee State, and then like they didn't lose to them, but I'm just like naming random teams, and they end up getting a 6 seed and they lose first round, and it was kind of obvious that they were probably going to be back against the wall against Notre Dame, or even if it was Rutgers. And they I think they're going to be the same kind of team. They have a really tough schedule again. They're going to lose a lot of games in the SEC. They're going to win a lot of good games, and they're going to look talented and good. But like Nate Oates is not on any hot seat at all. But like I need to start seeing some actual success from him and his team with a lot of talent if I'm going to trust him long term at all.
Yeah, I feel like the thing with Alabama is it's just the erraticness sometimes, like offensively, and then the defense as well.
It's kind of frustrating to watch sometimes when they have like defensively capable players. It's just like the team defense is not it.
That's like the definition of JD Davison last year.
Yes.
Like there's nothing he can't do. There's nothing he can't do on the floor, but then he just doesn't do half fit all the time. Like what the hell's going on?
Who they lose to in the tournament? Was it Notre Dame?
Yeah, Notre Dame and Rutgers played in the play-in and went to OT, and Notre Dame sweep the floor with Bama.
I remember I was watching that game, like JD Davison like make get a steal and then just throw like a wild pass. That's just like the whole Alabama team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The lack of discipline they play with. So maybe this year with Jelly and Mark Sears' experienced backcourt might be better off. Like they might be. I don't know, but last year with Quinterly and Shackelford, I thought it was going to be like that, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. How you feel about Tennessee this year?
Tennessee pretty good. Tom Izzo said the other day that he thinks they're a Final Four team already. I'm like, why are you talking about other teams like that? I think he's just talking them up because they beat them in a scrimmage, like in a close game. So he was like, they're a Final Four team. So everyone watch out for us. That's exactly what I'm saying. They're good. I don't think they have. Kennedy Chandler was awesome last year. Santiago Vescovi is good. People want him to be like this all SEC first team player. I don't think he's going to be. And Zakai Ziegler is not like the end all be all point guard either. So I don't think that they're like a top 10 team, but they're close to it. And their defense is crazy. So I'll give them that. But I don't know. Well, I'm not as high on them as everybody else.
Yeah, I think overall, Tennessee don't really be doing anything in the tournament. I don't really believe.
Yeah, this roster not moving me either. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. It's like, and like a lot of it goes beyond the roster, obviously, especially in college basketball, like the systems, the coaches, the defensive system, especially. But I don't know. I don't fully buy into them being able to like Final Four, maybe like. Obviously, every team that's in a power conference that's good can reach a Final Four, but I don't know if I buy that yet.
Yeah, I agree. Any other SEC teams?
I think Auburn deserves some shouts too.
Auburn, yeah.
Bruce Pearl is the guy. I love Bruce Pearl, but that's another team. Like they got to one Final Four that Jared Harper year is a 4, but other than that, like they haven't had a ton of success. They do have a couple of good freshmen. They return their entire backcourt. They bring in Janai Broom from Morehead State, who's a monster, an absolute freaking monster. And they'll be very good. I just don't know. They won't be as good as last year, obviously, but they peaked last year at the wrong time. But they'll be good. They'll be good throughout the year for sure.
Yeah. And Alan Flanagan is coming back too, right?
Right. So they basically return everybody except for Jabari and Walker Kessler, which is their 2 best players. Don't get me wrong, but they can fill the voids elsewhere and add even more guys to fill the depth. So,
yeah. Auburn for me was like frustrating to watch with the guard play sometimes because like we always used to talk about like on the podcast that like KD Johnson and Wendell Green, like they think that they Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum when they should be just getting the ball to Jabari Smith.
Well, they're so frustrating to watch. And Bruce Pearl, like Wendell Green shot like 4 different tries for buzzer beaters last year. And Bruce Pearl kept letting him shoot the ball. I'm like, why don't you run a play for Jabari Smith, your best outside shooter, one time? Literally one time.
Yeah. And like that would be nice with like Wendell Green and KD Johnson going off. But it's like other nights, like, yo, pass the ball.
One night against Georgia. Was it Georgia?
It might have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was bad, bro.
That's crazy, right? Like, oh, it was like early shot clock. Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't KD Johnson like 0 for 13 or something like that?
Bro,
like,
he is
terrible.
He is like the definition of a college basketball player to me. Like, he is perfect. Like, when I think
sometimes, bro.
In like 10 years, you're going to be like, name a random college basketball player, and you're going to be like KD Johnson. And if people know, they're going to be like, yeah.
That's a fact, man.
For real. All right, let's talk about the best teams in the outside of the Power 6 teams. And let's start off with Houston. I think this is my pick to win the national championship this year. I'm high on this team. Marcus Sasser coming back. He only played probably around 6-8 games last year. They had the defense, and Kelvin Sampson, I think he's probably top 3 coaches in the league right now.
I got no argument with that.
Yeah. And also, freshman to look out for, Jarice Walker. That's my guy.
He's a monster, yeah.
Yeah.
Any Sampson system is going to be amazing. They're always going to be good. And they're bringing Sasser, and now they have Mark back and Jamal Shed and like you said, like Walker and Terrence Arsenault. Like, that team with talent in the system is easily a title contender, especially what they showed last year. And they could definitely win a title. No doubt. I don't know if I would pick them on day one, but I have no doubts that they can win a title.
Yeah. They just got a team full of dogs, and this is probably the most talent that they had in probably recent memory.
Yeah, but definitely more talented than the Quentin Grimes team, because it was literally Quentin Grimes. Like, Dejan Giroux was solid, but they weren't crazy talented at all.
Yeah. You got any thoughts on this team, John?
Like you say, Jarice Walker. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of high on him, but overall, it is a well-rounded team. Defensively, they tough. Didn't they just recently play Duke in a scrimmage?
Yeah, I think they won
beat their ass. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
True.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of high on them too. I could definitely see them winning the national chip.
Is it a year for Gonzaga, T.I.?
It's always a year for Gonzaga. What do you mean? It's always their year to lose. I don't know. I'm like anti Gonzaga. So the people that hate Gonzaga because they think they play nobody and they're always good but never gonna win a title, like they're always gonna 1 seed for no reason. I'm anti that if that makes sense. Because it's not true. Like, they consistently beat down on power teams, not beat down, but they're one of the best teams against power conference teams in the entire country, especially in the out of conference. They schedule Alabama, Kentucky, Michigan State, UCLA, all these teams every single year on purpose to play them out of conference. So it's a myth that they don't play anybody good, because they do. It is.
They running from the smoke.
That's what I'm saying. They have no problem with it. And people think that they do. It's just a lie, but they're going to be great. They're going to be so good per usual. Timmy's awesome. They Julian Strother, Rasir Bolton. They bring in Malachi Smith, Efton Reed. That team, they're not as good as the Suggs Kisper team, I think, but they're close.
Yeah, I think it's really about the guards. The jump that Nolan Hickman takes.
Yeah, sure.
I think he might be the biggest X factor on the team. And then Hunter Salas.
See, keep going down the list. The team's crazy.
Yeah, they got a deep roster.
Yeah, and Timmy could not play, and they would still win the WCC with ease, and they would still beat a lot of the power conference teams that they play. So
yeah,
they'll be good. If they win it, they could win the title. I'm not going to say no. I just wouldn't pick them, because I'm not going to lie. There's always some threat at this point of is Gonzaga ever going to win a title? But I think they will at some point. Maybe not this year, but at some point they will.
Who do you think will win the title?
Oh,
you got to pick.
Damn. I had to pick. I'd probably go with Baylor right now. I picked Baylor a lot, but I would go Baylor. I did pick Kansas last year before the season started, and then I went back on it and flipped it before the tournament. But I'll go Baylor right now.
Yeah, I like that pick.
Yeah, I'm with either Baylor or Houston.
Baylor,
I can see one of those two.
Final Four is in Houston also.
That would
Ooh,
be tough.
that's
So
tough.
imagine like a Baylor, Houston, Texas.
Oh yeah,
Tech.
Texas final. Oh yeah, that's gonna be
TCU or
crazy.
something like that. Yeah, that'd be crazy. In Houston, that'd be wild. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. As long as UNC doesn't win a national championship, I don't care.
Hey man, the UNC. We were talking about storylines earlier. UNC and like that rivalry. The UNC Duke it's not even a rivalry right now.
Chill.
I knew that was coming.
Chill.
That's the story. That is their storyline, though. Is that the storyline is that like UNC right now is on top of the world in the ACC. So it's just funny. I hope we get a rematch of that in the tournament. That'd be electric.
Yeah, I don't know how confident I am in this team winning this year.
Yeah, if UNC gets to a point, if they get to like an Elite Eight, Final Four, and they're probably a 1 or 2 seed at that point, it's like, all right, they're probably going to win.
Yeah, I just can't let that. It can't happen again in my life.
It won't. They're not UCLA, like I said. Like the people said, like they're the UCLA this year, but I don't think they're going to win a title.
Yeah, I don't think they are either. It's tough to go back-to-back national championship games too.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I don't know if anybody's done that recently.
Florida.
I guess that's a good point. They won both their too. Yeah. Because Gonzaga's
didn't UNC go back-to-back national championship games?
I think they were 2 years apart. So, no, they did. They lost one. They won one.
And 17. Right. Villanova
lost to Nova and then won. Yeah, good point. There you go. UNC. Maybe they're gonna come back, but they lost the first one. And they won the second one. So, or maybe vice versa. I don't know. No, it was they definitely lost the first one and won the second one.
Yeah, they lost on that Chris Jenkins shot.
Right. That was the first one, right? Exactly.
Ah, fuck. So there's a chance.
So they're going back. It's already confirmed.
All right. So let's move into the top non-conference games going into this year. I have like a list of like 10 of them.
Fire away.
All right, let's get it. We got Gonzaga versus Michigan State November 11th on the aircraft carrier.
Oh, that's tough.
You guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm so happy they brought it back.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
I got Gonzaga, though.
Yeah, I definitely got Gonzaga.
Yeah, me too.
Winning that game. Yeah. Next one, Indiana at Kansas, December 17th. I guess that's a solid game.
It's all right. I'm going to have to take Kansas, though.
Yeah, this is all 24/7 sports. Villanova at Michigan State, November 18th. I guess
early in the season. I'll take MSU in the upset.
MSU in the upset. Yeah, I like that. I don't know is Cam Whitmore going to be back?
I think so. I think he's all right. Let's assume he is, I guess, because that's a good point. If he's not playing, then
yeah, if he's not playing, I'm definitely going Michigan State.
They can still win. They can still win without. Like they won without like Justin Moore at times. They won without a bunch of guys throughout the year. They just like plug and play. But Whitmore, to be fair, is like different breed. So
yeah. Illinois versus UCLA, November 18th. I think this is the Roman main event in Las Vegas.
Big Ten matchup.
Oh yeah, future Big Ten matchup. Man, that's crazy. And then the Champions Classic. Dang, I wish it was in Madison Square Garden again. This year is Duke versus Kansas and Kentucky versus Michigan State.
I got Duke and Kentucky.
Duke versus Kansas. And who's the second one again?
Kentucky and Michigan State.
Take Duke and Kentucky, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I want them to remove Michigan State from that damn class. I'll just be tired of playing them.
They got a good class next year, so maybe
they played a good game last year when they played Kansas, correct?
Yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah, that was a good game.
They're never going to get blown out. Like they'll never let that. Tom Izzo would never let that happen.
All right, see a team like UCLA be in it.
It's a good point, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I don't
know. Next game, Kentucky and Michigan. I think Kentucky probably has like one of the better non-conference.
Oh, schedules. Kentucky.
They really be playing. Them and Kansas are literally playing the whole world, which is good. I respect to that. They play Gonzaga too, Kentucky. They go to Gonzaga, I think, on the 20th.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like, Yeah, they start their home and home, and they're doing it for the next like 6 years or something like that, which is incredible.
Yeah. I think Duke and Arizona is doing one starting next year.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I like that.
So Kentucky and Michigan. I'll go Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm taking Kentucky.
Where's that game? Yeah.
Oh, that game is played at.
I'll go Kentucky. I was
They're
gonna say
playing
Michigan. I'm not gonna get tricky.
Wait, hold on. They playing in London?
What? I know, like Baylor and Gonzaga are playing in South Dakota at some point. I think
That's so random.
Yeah, it says
early
Kentucky and Michigan are flying over the pond to play in London December 4th.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, that is tough.
That is pretty cool, actually.
Then Arkansas at Baylor.
Oof.
SEC Big 12 Challenge.
When is that? I'm trying to go to that. When is that?
January 28th.
I got to get my ass down there. I got to get to that game. That's crazy. I think Baylor, though.
It's at Baylor.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm rocking Baylor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially at the crib. Yeah, I'm taking Baylor.
Then North Carolina versus Michigan, December 21st.
I think North Carolina, I guess. That's a good ass game. I love all the big matchups in these games, like the bigs in these games where like Hunter, you got like Hunter and Oscar, I think was one. Like you got Trace versus I think Kansas. It's for somebody, and like Timmy versus Oscar, and like all these guys have teams with such good bigs. Like those are crazy matchups.
But that is gonna be a good matchup. Timmy versus Oscar. That's gonna be a good one.
That's gonna
be and Dickinson could be a good matchup.
That's crazy too. Yeah.
Oh, this is where we about to go. CBS Sports Classic, Kentucky versus UCLA, and North Carolina versus Ohio State at the Garden.
MSG, right? Yeah, definitely gotta hit that.
Yeah, we definitely gotta be out to that game.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, every year Kansas at Kentucky this year.
Love it.
They smoked them last year.
They really did.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes. No, I remember. That was bad.
That's probably like one of their worst losses at Allen Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
Texas at Tennessee. Ohio State at Duke.
Ohio State at Duke. See, is that a Big Ten ACC challenge maybe? Or
yeah.
We got some good ass games. Like this is the out of conference schedule is great. The first week is terrible. It's awful.
Yeah, like borderline fucking D2 schools.
A lot of them are. There's like it's first day on Monday. There's 200 games. I'm like, well, there's not 400 D1 teams. So I'll tell you that much. That's a lot of bad. I think like BYU, San Diego State is my favorite, like week one, which is not say a lot. I do like watching those kind of games, but doesn't say a lot. Two underrated ones I'll add is Houston against UVA on 12-17. I think that might be like 41-40 game.
Yeah, that
ass.
I'll definitely take the under on whatever that is.
Bro, it's literally gonna be like under 100 probably. Oh, it can't be. They can't do that. It's gotta be over 100 total. But that one, and then Eastern Michigan against Michigan. I think it's a 12-11 or 11-11 or 12-11 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Imani and Noah go to Michigan.
Wait, when did they play?
I want to say it's November or December 11th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not positive. But Eastern Michigan, I'm pretty sure it's at Michigan. It might be a neutral site though. That game is like, I got a must watch. It might be November actually. What am I saying? I'll tell you when it is. It is, I don't know. Fuck.
Nah, that's definitely a must watch game.
Yeah. Man, while he looking for when that game is, we got to get out to some games this year. We got to get out to some.
Yeah.
Oh, it's next week. November 11th. It's next week.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Early.
Friday night, 9 p.m. They're playing at Michigan. Correct.
Tough.
Oof, damn.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game.
Yeah. I got to see if Imani Bates does have a bounce back season.
He was cooking in the scrimmage the other day. He looked great, which is good to see. Like, it's encouraging.
Hopefully he keep that energy, man. I want to see him do good this year.
Yeah. I feel like everyone's rooting for him for the most, maybe not everybody. You got people who are stumbling on another level of whatever, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. There's always haters like that though.
Yeah. I'm rooting for him too. I hope he's in a good state. If he's playing well, I feel like he'll just give him confidence and like let him reset on a lot of things going on. So
yeah, hopefully he figure everything out. We got the Jimmy V Classic, Illinois versus Texas, and also Duke and Iowa matchup. I think that's at the Garden too. So we going.
Yeah, we might have to pop out to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good games.
And North Carolina at Indiana. That's ACC Big Ten Challenge.
That's
so
crazy
matchup.
Yeah, that's wild.
And that's it for the non-conference matchups.
It's a great. See what I'm saying? Like once the first week goes by, you got a couple of good games, then you get a ton of good games right after that. So
yeah. And then also like the tournaments as well. Like I know Duke plays in like the PK 85.
Right.
And if everything goes right, it could potentially be a Gonzaga matchup in the championship. I forgot who else is in there.
Ooh. I forget PK 85. Let's find out.
They have Gonzaga, Duke, Florida, Oregon State, Portland State, Purdue, West Virginia, and Xavier. So you got some good teams in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's a lot of good teams. They have two sides. I think they do two tournaments also, like another 8 all with like UConn and Iowa State and stuff too.
Yeah, like
Alabama, yeah.
Alabama, Iowa State, Michigan State, North Carolina.
Is that Thanksgiving week? I think, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was that week.
Yeah, that and like the Maui Invitational. That's true. All these tournaments that like you don't see who they're playing until they win a first game because they have to play like usually not a great team right away, and then they get scheduled with a good team, so it's like off the radar.
Yeah. Now the Maui Invitation was always lit. Like one of like the recent moments I could think of is when Anthony Edwards went off against Michigan State. After I saw that game, I'm like, oh yeah, he's him. He's him. That's all I need to see. He just took over that game.
Oh yeah.
So who do you think is the best prospect in college?
I'm pretty confident it's Nick Smith. Combination of like youth and then also every ounce of what you want out of a prospect. He is like the truest of true of a complete combo guard, like 6'5", good playmaking, good physicality, good athleticism. He can score at will from wherever he's polished. Like I'll take him over most guys, but I think Cam and Keontae are probably right behind, and maybe Reek also.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like Cam Whitmore a lot better, only because he's just so versatile, so big, so athletic. Like he's definitely like an NBA. Like he already has the body to be in the NBA right now if he wanted to. So Cam Whitmore is very high on the list for me.
Yeah,
Nick Smith is also probably like a close second or third. Keontae George is up there.
I got Derek.
Oh yeah, damn! Why did I forget about Derek? Derek is definitely up there too. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's really between those four. That's probably gonna be like the most impactful freshman as well.
Yeah, I almost wish the class wasn't so loaded because I love Anthony Black so much. Like he's probably my like in terms of like my guys, quote unquote my guys in the class. He's definitely one of them. Like it's so hard to find a guy, a 6'7" guard who can do so much. He can play any really 1, 2, or 3 spot on the floor, but he's such an exceptional like playmaker and he has such a good understanding at that size at a young age. And teams like hunt for guys like that ever since like Luka, I feel like teams hunt for that with like the Thunder getting Jalen Williams and like the high efficiency big guards. Like teams just search for that shit. And I think it's really, really hard to find. And I think Anthony Black could be one of those guys for sure.
Yeah. Look at Dyson Daniels too.
Yeah.
Dyson's there you go. Dyson's the man. Dyson's that guy.
Yeah. Who do you think is the best not like non-freshman, like returner prospect?
The best non-freshman. That's tough. Like
Jaime Jaquez.
Jaime's I do love Jaime. I think Terquavion's up there. I wouldn't go crazy about him, but he's probably up there. And then like it's tough because like I think those guys, a lot of them, like you get them throughout the season, right? So the freshmen that that are top tier talent, you put those on top of the draft board to start the year. And then like last year, as Ochai and Keegan Murray broke out, right? They broke out the year. Like, all right, let's start rising these guys up. And like their age is less of a worry because of how good they are. And like Chris Murray could be that. I don't think Marcus Sasser will get that high, but he could be up there. Like Oscar won't get that high, but like Caleb Love maybe, but like Hunter Salas maybe could get up there too. Tyrese Hunter,
Yeah.
but it's tough.
Maybe Arthur Kaluma as well.
Kaluma too. That's right. You mentioned he was like a fringe first rounder at this point. So there's a lot of guys that like honestly, even Imani could be up there at some point.
If you really turned up.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll get to like be like the top non-freshman in college prospect wise, but he could be like, if you told me he was a late first rounder and that's going to happen, I'd believe you. Like I wouldn't have too many questions about it.
Yeah. All right. Which out of like the top bigs, like returning bigs, has the best chance in NBA? Like out of the Oscars, the Trace Jackson Davis, the Baycots, Hunter Dickinson, Drew Timme.
Out of that list you just gave me, I'd have to say Jackson Davis has like the best translatable pro game, because I feel like Oscar, those guys like Hunter Dickinson, like what can you really like translate from their game, from their college game to the NBA?
Oscar, like that's tough. It's so tough. None of them will have great like electric features in the league. It is what it is. But Oscar's like rebounding and paint presence gives him a really high, not really high floor, but a high enough floor to have a role in the NBA. I think Drew Timme has like a crazy. What makes him special is his understanding and his footwork and his polish and things that can make him good. Like I'm trying to think of bigs to compare to that have gone that route, because there's not many. There really might not be any at all. But I think that gives him maybe the best opportunity. It's a good point though. I would understand any of them, to be fair. Like they're all equally as like low ceiling in the NBA.
Yeah, I agree. Especially Timme, because like you were just not like you made me think about it. There's not really many like bigs like him in the NBA, and like for him to get his game off, he needs to have his back to the basket, like using his footwork, and like he's not going to get those opportunities and those touches in the NBA. The
only guy I can think of that does that, but this guy is one younger, has better flair, and is bigger, is Alperen Sengun. Like I'm not comparing them, but like he plays with that same kind of like lack of athleticism, but like crazy footwork and understanding and ability to like manipulate defenses and zones and stuff. And I think Timme could be like some poor man's version of that, but he probably won't.
Yeah. And then Alperen Sengun also has the playmaking.
The vision, yeah.
He's different. That was rude of me to do that, but he's different.
Yeah. Damn, I'm really trying to think who I'll pick out of all of them. Maybe Trace Jackson.
I only say Trace Jackson only because I feel like his game is the most translatable. Like you could throw him onto like a roster and he'll be able to do like the bare minimum as a big.
I feel like you don't have to really question his athleticism on like an NBA court as well.
He's got a high enough motor too. Like he's probably got the best mobility down the floor of any of them. I think he's slightly undersized compared to the rest, especially compared to like Armando, who's huge. But like all right, here's a good example. Udoka Azubuike, right? A few years ago, he has like a limited but an NBA role to a capacity. So like Armando could easily be that, I feel like.
Yeah. And like Tony Bradley in the league. So
that's a good point. That's a fair point. Like those guys have roles. It sucks because like 20 years earlier, they're going number 2 overall.
Bro, I'm still like, if Jahlil Okafor was born, if he played in 2002, he'll probably be a Hall of Fame.
Bro, I still thought he was gonna be elite in the NBA, even with that trend happening.
Yeah, I thought he was. And then just the defense and then just like the whole situation in Philly.
Oh, yeah. It was not good for him in Philly.
He was over there knocking people out every other week and stuff.
Yeah. Where's he at now?
He's on the Vipers, I believe.
Yeah, some G League team.
Yeah, that G League team is stacked. They had a hell of people on there. They had like Kyrie Walker, Ashton Higgins, him, a few other people. Like, damn, I'm trying to. It was hella like it looked like an NBA bench, low key.
The G League super team,
literally.
It's funny. Yeah, I'm with you. Like those guys will be. I think they all have like high floors as pros, whether that's NBA, G League, overseas. Like they're all going to make a lot of money playing basketball after school, but where and to what level I'm not sure. Like
Yeah,
in
that's the
Europe, I think
question.
those guys would be great. Because they play with like traditional bigs there. So
Yeah, they can make a lot of money.
right, but they don't like. Obviously, most of them would probably rather stay domestically. But it's tough. It's a tough world, man. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah. What team goes further in the tournament to you guys? Duke or Arkansas?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
That is tough.
Yeah,
I mean, so
Arkansas.
so much depends. Yeah, so much depends on like what they're given, but like all that aside, like what route they're set up with, what region and stuff. But I expect Duke to get a higher seed. I'll say Arkansas too. Fuck it.
Like, I feel like both of them at best is probably going to get to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, if they matched up against each other, who do you guys take?
Ooh, it's still tough.
Yeah,
I'll go Duke because the physical presence down low. I think losing Jalen Williams is massive for Arkansas, and they don't have a ton of depth in the front court. Not that I think we'll keep up with Lively and even like Flip and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I'm going with Duke then.
Damn. I just convinced myself going back on what I said. Yeah.
That would be a good ass game. And who has more first round picks between those two?
First round picks.
Duke.
All right. So they each get 2 right off the bat. Right. And then it comes down to who for Duke? Filipowski.
Yeah.
Mark Mitchell.
Guy like Mark Mitchell, like, especially if he get like a good role this year, I'm definitely putting him as a first rounder.
I'll take Arkansas. I'll take Jordan Walsh over Flip and those guys to be a first rounder. That's what
Yeah, I think I'm more confident in Jordan Walsh being a first round over like Flip and Mark Mitchell.
Right. But you do get 2. You do get 2.
Oh wait, hold up. I think.
Proctor.
Proctor, yeah. Proctor.
Oh, dude. See, you get 3 guys on Duke that could be a first rounder, but you get 1 on Arkansas that's probably a little better than the 3.
Wait, so that's a tough one. That might be equal, okay.
3-3.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be 3-3.
Proctor does have like a really good NBA build for a guard. I'll go 3-3. I'll take Arkansas if I had to, though. Gun to my head, I'll take Arkansas.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that. You guys got any other questions? Anything you guys want to talk about?
We went through pretty much. That was a good podcast. We went through a lot of shit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You got anything else, Ryan?
No, I'm good. I appreciate y'all for having me on, but no, I'm straight.
Of course, man. If you want to shout out,
plug anything,
shout out whatever you want to shout out. Plug all your stuff.
Hey man, follow me on whatever social media is. Ryan Hammer 09 on Twitter and Ryan Hammer 9 on Instagram, TikTok, whatever.
Yeah, I'm about to shoot you those follows right now.
Man, I'm right here. I'm everywhere, so I'm always down to connect people. My DMs are always open too. So
we appreciate you for coming on,
man.
Always.
And if y'all made it this far to the podcast, I'm gonna need y'all to do me a favor. Give me a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on. Follow us on all of our accounts, 3-Man Breakdown on TikTok, 3-Man Breakdown on IG. It'll all be in the description below. We'll put Ryan's stuff in the description below. And with that being said, it's 3-Man Breakdown, and we out this motherfucker.
Yes, sir.
Man.